This is a really cool version of My Road, My Journey. Oh, hello. I timed that exactly right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into another of our Week 1 Summer Dragon Warrior Randomizer Tournament matchups. Tonight we are bringing you two of our journeymen here in the Dragon Warrior Randomizer community. We do have MonsieurSlime versus EdgeTalvaron, and my name is Lafkin, of course, and joining me tonight is Commander Leonhardt. Commander Leonhardt, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Glad to be here with you for this race. Should be fun.
Absolutely. Very much looking forward to this one. Again, these are two of our more experienced runners here in the community, so very much looking forward to this race. And while we wait for our runners to get started here, let's go ahead and take a look at our tracker. We do have that Sleep Spell, Radiant, and Outside available to our runners. So some good travel, a little bit of good combat here, but nothing that's going to be too terribly game-changing from level 1. The stats are looking not terrible, not super great. We do have 7 strength here, 12 agility to not take as much damage. 19 HP being in the red I find kind of interesting. I think that 19's a decent number to start with, but really it's that power that you kind of want to pay the most attention to. Not a lot of things you're going to be able to beat up on 7 power, but maybe they'll get some help in the throne room as we are underway.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but with 8 MP, they can at least outside and save their key.
That would be a return. Would let them keep the key. But they do have a fairy water here. Yeah, no problem. So they do have a fairy water here, which they could use to potentially take something out and get an early bit of experience. I'm sure seeing that 7 power, they will both be more than aware that it might be a little bit hard to get off these early levels.
Excellent dodge. What a lovely opening to the seed.
Yeah, that's one of those things, you hate to see it, you know you're probably going to see it, but you hate to see it. Edge, meanwhile, finds the perfect Zone 0 target. A Scorpion sprinkles that fairy water, picks up a level. The level was, what I see there, 1196? So...
yeah. Welp.
Not the greatest start, but here we go. One more. You just needed one more experience for level 3. Okay, no more power. And no offensive spells. Oh boy. Strap in, folks. This could take a minute.
Yeah, swinging a magician. No love. 1 on the second swing. Ugh.
Yeah, this is tough. I think MonsieurSlime did the right thing here. Was able to take out a ghost. Now, at 7 strength, this game does some weird things at times with its math, and I don't know exactly why this happens, but at certain strength values, you actually have a harder time hitting certain monsters than if your strength was lower. I believe if they had 6 power, they wouldn't be missing ghosts at all, but at 7 you do. And so MonsieurSlime was trying to kind of take advantage of having all of that HP and just kind of praying that he would hit the ghost eventually. Just as Edge looks like he's going to try and contend with this Magidraki using his sleep spell.
Well, turns out that Magidraki counters with sleep of its own, so we've seen that, and we've seen Dragonlord Breath from Magicians thus far.
Yeah, that's a tough one. It's nice that at least it seems maybe there are other things in this zone. Like, this Zone 0 is honestly okay, never mind.
And it's not just sleep, it's the Wombo combo.
Yeah, MonsieurSlime hasn't used it yet, but I don't think he's seen the Scorpion. And even if he has, he might just be, I don't know, he might just be waiting for a different time to use it. Oh, never mind. I guess he did just use that. He might be waiting for, another Magidraki or a Scorpion, because that's what Edge did. Edge saw a Scorpion as soon as he walked out, and used it on that, so... I think that's a pretty good play.
And it looks like MonsieurSlime wanted perhaps his Fairy Water back because he's reset and started back over at level 1.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because he did. He was right there on level 2 after fighting the ghost. But yeah, in a scenario like this, that's 100% the correct play. If you use that Fairy Water and die, you need to reset. I mean, we already know from Edge already being up to level 3, that these stats are going nowhere, and they're going nowhere really, really fast. And don't look now, resetting actually benefiting MonsieurSlime a lot here. Hopefully he can get the Scorpion just like EdgeTalvaron did.
Got a lower roll on that Fairy Water, so not the quick shot that Edge did, but he gets a free turn off the stop spell, and gets the job done.
So there's Slime catching up to Edge in terms of level. Edge still contending with this ghost here. Trying to get that much closer to level 4. Thank goodness for the sleep spell here. And okay, Slime, so he remembers they still have that deal 2 breath, and sleep is only so effective, unfortunately. You really need to be able to just 1 or 2 shot those things.
So, you're much more familiar with these runners and their capabilities than I am. Are you thinking there's any chance of a reroll?
So I feel like that comes down less to necessarily capabilities than just kind of individual taste. I want to say, I don't think I've been in that many races with EdgeTalvaron. I want to say MonsieurSlime is the kind of guy to stick a seed out. But I could be wrong, and just for the viewers, we do have kind of a designated race monitor, so to speak, that our runners can send a private message to if they decide that they do want a reseed. I feel like this might be a situation that would call for a reseed. It might not. It wouldn't. I don't know. Personally, I don't think this is the worst scenario I've ever seen. You do have ghosts at the very least that you can fight. And Edge, I believe, is 2 ghosts away from the next level. But if the strength goes nowhere at level 4, that's when I might start considering messaging and kind of hoping for that reroll. But I would say Slime most likely no, and Edge maybe. I definitely don't know Edge as well.
Yeah, or like even if there's no strength, like just give me a heal, or even a heal more, just so I can walk through that swamp. And I'm on board with trying to make things happen, but we're kind of jailed in the zone by the swamp with no healing and just 1 herb in a chest. Looking for that breakout.
Yeah, it's really, really tough. And I noticed Lorgon in chat earlier calling for them to... NYC guy. He was trying to call for them to kind of head up that coast and make sure that there wasn't a cave somewhere just off the screen. And that's an important thing to do, really, is to scope out the area that you're in early. I was actually playing a seed earlier today. Shout out to Angel FM if he's somewhere out there. We were playing a seed just a bit earlier, and Swamp Cave led to the back of Garinham, and that broke out what otherwise would have been a terrible seed, just like this one. So definitely always look around, just scope out the coast and see if there's something there. Edge is going to see if there's something to level 4, and there is!
Yeah. 9632. And heal. Yep. Now we're in business.
That was absolutely the breakout of jail level. And hats off to Edge for sticking it out, figuring it out. And like I said, there are ghosts available. He only needed 2 more, and he got them. And now he is doing some real damage here. It actually puts the magician to sleep and takes it out. Says, here, let me test my newfound powers. And they were pretty effective.
MonsieurSlime wanting nothing to do with that Magidraki and its big bad breath. Likewise the magician.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because it really, at this point, does kind of come down to being able to just get those encounters that you can fight. You really, it's really unfortunate, too, as you just kind of have to pass up some of these monsters that really the magicians and Magidrakis you probably could take out just because the HP is so high. Agility is pretty high, too, just for, like, the very early levels. We see 18 for Slime and 24 for Edge. So usually you can just plink away at him for a while, but yeah, unfortunately with that DL2 breath, no dice there. But continuing with this ghost now, and then it'll just be one more, 2 more ghosts or Slime and a ghost, some combination of that. And Slime will also be out of jail. Edge not going through the swamp immediately. I guess wants to find a couple of scorpions for level 5. Interesting choice here.
It's never a terrible time for an excellent move, but that one was certainly appreciated.
And another one following near back-to-back Kaishin no Ichigekis for EdgeTalvaron to just, make extra sure that he doesn't take any DL2 breath to the face while taking out these magicians.
Besides, he's pressed his luck enough and says, let's put this one to sleep.
Absolutely. Okay, Magician wakes up. I'm now kind of curious if they're 50-50 or it definitely is not 75%. Looks like 25 or 50.
Level 5 is 2, 6, 7, 15, and the spell of Radiant?
Looks like Stop Spell comparing to Mr. Slime's spell list. I thought it was either Radiant or Stop Spell. And Stop Spell would be nice if Edge... I'm not sure if he saw the sleep or if he remembers that Magidrakis have sleep. Oh no! Okay,
look at this! MonsieurSlime doesn't have the MP and the HP to get through, but now he's motivated. There's a town just out of sight.
Yeah, that's the one thing that you have to do is, again, you really have to be willing to take a slight risk and put yourself out there. I think he might still have that herb, but doesn't actually need it. And I want to say he's found Zone 1 here, because I don't think we've seen any Drakies at all. So it looks like he might have found, or maybe it's Zone 2. I can never remember which one is north, which one is east. But regardless, here's Garinham. This is my favorite town to see early. You've got that item shop right there. You can fill up on herbs. You can check the weapons shop. And, of course, you've got a pretty affordable inn here, too.
Got a silver shield for when the long haul comes, but the more immediate benefit, probably that club and or copper sword.
Yeah, that was looking a lot like the vanilla Breckenary weapon shop. Pretty much everything a growing adventurer needs to get him or herself off the ground. And so Mr. Slime's already aware of all of that stuff. Edge, meanwhile, really still just going at it with a will, not wanting to get out on the map yet. Really just wanting to kind of do that aggressive grinding strategy that Up2G is a fan of. pretty decent fan of it myself. And now that Mr. Slime is really exploring this Zone 2, might actually be wishing it was Breckenary there instead of Garinham, because you would have access to that fairy water that could really get the seed going. But for now, just going to have to rely on that attack power boost that you do get at level 4. And so now it'll just be a matter of seeing how far exactly these runners want to take this. Edge, unfortunately, getting slept. I wonder if he tried to stop spell that Magitraki when he saw it. I missed those opening turns. I did see he got put to sleep, unfortunately. But that's okay. Closing in on level 6.
And so far, MonsieurSlime's exploration of this zone has found Drakeys and Drolls and Metal Scorpions, and yeah, some fairy water would definitely come in handy here. I'm curious, how many torches does it take to get to the metallic center of a Metal Scorpion?
I want to say 3, but unless somebody goes in and finds out, the world may never know.
Well, they have baby breath, so that makes surviving 3 rounds questionable at these levels.
I want to say that the Metal Scorpion is still in the kind of beginner class of monsters, so to speak, that are 100% susceptible to sleep. But chat may correct me if I'm wrong on that. High Spirit saying it could take 2 to 4. I imagine that's if they roll high and you roll minimum on all your torches. But generally speaking, I want to say it's possible to do it in as little as 2. But 3 is probably your safest bet. I see. I'm assuming they can probably roll 19 or 20, and that's why High Spirits is saying that they could take up to 4. But again, you'd have to get multiple minimum rolls here. Of course, I'm sure there are several people out there in chat who are like, "Don't talk to me about minimum rolls."
Right.
Oh, Scorpions have stop spell. That's pretty cute. Maybe not so much for Mr. Slime right at this second, because his spells have been blocked. And he's got that hurt spell in the back, too. Oh, boy. But now able to contend with these Scorpions, and now knows that should probably just open up with... Oh, he doesn't have stop spell yet, my bad. Mr. Slime will have stop spell soon enough to try and take that out. Oh, interesting. Doing a little behind-the-scenes science here. I'm curious now, because we've got a little debate going on here about vanilla versus randomizer, and seems that the Scorpions have less HP than they used to, and I seem to remember them having less HP, because in the remakes, I know that the hurt spell is basically guaranteed to one-shot a Scorpion, and maybe also one-shot a Metal Scorpion? I'm not terribly sure. But it does seem like they might have less HP in this version than they do in vanilla. But in either case, should be able to take them out with torches if so desired. But for right now, just content to fight the regular Scorpions. They do have that much softer outer shell, and inside seem just as juicy, at least according to MonsieurSlime.
Yeah, the Drakeys were kind of nice in the other zone. They were reasonably free, but the Scorpions and the Drolls just said, why are you here? I don't understand. Go away.
Yeah, come back when you're a little bit stronger, a little bit older. Also, Art, can I ask what the start was? Yes, the start was pretty rough. Very fortunate that they did start out with that fairy water, because they had 7 strength. And as you can see, they were pretty much locked in by this swamp. Both Edge and MonsieurSlime were able to find a Scorpion and kill it with that fairy water. to get themselves a quick level 2. Level 3 didn't give much power. Level 4 was the get out of jail level, as they got 9 power and that heal spell. Edge has not yet left this starting area, but MonsieurSlime, this now is his second trip into Garinham. Maybe he wants to buy some leather armor. Oh, okay, he's going to go buy that club. That's a smart purchase.
Yep. Kill it before it kills you. Best defense around.
Yeah, I'm with up to and G on this one. Sometimes in a situation like this, you can forget about the small changes that have been made over time, like torches and fairy water. But I think fairy water here, I have to agree with up to and G. Once you see that metal scorpion, I think that's when you go in and you just start buying all the torches you can carry. Because you just are going to get off the ground that much faster. Because, I mean, you're getting experience, 16 at a time maximum in Zone 0. Whereas if you're able to take on those metal scorpions, now all of a sudden you're getting, 33 experience at a time. And it wouldn't be unreasonable to, say, go up to level 7 in this area. And you'd have a much easier time at least getting to level 6, as I believe Edge has been killed by magicians 2 or 3 times now. Hopefully he can get this one.
MonsieurSlime really eventually just gives up and runs, but looked like he was really looking for a death warp from Jerkbird. But Jerkbird, finding new ways to annoy our racers, just insisted on using Stop Spell. That's
pretty adorable. We'll need to keep that in the back of his mind. And we do see another town here, MonsieurSlime getting that mild exploration advantage. We see Hawksness, which is actually, you really like to see that. You got Hawksness right there next to Garinham, but don't look now, Edge on level 6. And it looks like we had 4, 11, 1, 0 were the official stats there. So a nice bump in agility. Agility looking pretty decent. It is at the Lorgon approved mark of 41, where you will have a 50% chance or better to run from everything up to and including blue dragons. So this is a pretty decent point to really start that exploration. And Edge now just getting to Garinham for the first time. Will decline the bamboo pole, but take note of everything else.
Picks up the dragon scale. Says, you're gonna get this sometime. Might as well take a little boost now. But yeah, to the point you were making earlier, that Hawksness and Garinham proximity could prove very useful if there's some kind of good grind happening here at the end.
No, red dragons are definitely not included there. I want to say they have maybe 25 or 30% chance of running from reds at this point, so it's not 0, but it's definitely not great either. As Edge now pressing forward on the map. Again, I think this is as good a time to do so as any. Runs into one of those red dragons, and oh boy. I haven't seen how far Slime tried to go east. This might be the way that they have to go.
He went southeast from Garinham and found a peninsula that ended the exploration there, but he hasn't gone due east, I don't think.
Yeah, so we're opening Slog plus Bottleneck. Data Strap calls it. Yeah, this is one of those tough ones, almost looking a little bit reminiscent of that infamous Nestcard Jacquemus monstrosity from our very first tournament. Obviously not quite that bad, as they are already level 5 and 6 respectively, but it's always a little bit unfortunate when you see these kind of seeds where you just have like one way to go and it's Sharlock monsters and you got mountain tiles and it's all just kind of gross all around. We're going ahead and calling out the potential reverse count 23 minutes into the seed, as we do have Tantagel looking pretty darn close to both the southern and western edges of the map. It's an interesting thing to be... You definitely do want to take a note of it, just in case it does come in handy. I've never really done the reverse count myself. I prefer to just grab the princess and let GPS do the work for me, but people smarter than I have definitely saved themselves some time that way.
Yeah, also not something I've done myself. I definitely understand the theory and the appeal, just depending on how rude that princess rescue is. So, we will see if it comes into play.
Up to NG saying there's a weird off by one thing to know with reverse counting. I don't really know all of the science behind it, because I think sometimes you won't necessarily have the edge, the coast represent the actual 1/20th tile or something like that. But again, I usually just get the princess in these situations, so always say 1/19 of castle on bottom. Oh, I see. So if you're like actually right there on the edge, you do need to account for the fact that, okay, yeah, I see what's going on.
Yeah, a good thing to remember. Though, on general principle, if you think you're in the right area and your search doesn't come up, it's best not to panic, but just to start searching methodically the tiles in the area and come up with what you came for.
Yeah, I haven't seen anyone do it in quite a while. I think people now are... now that we're in I believe, our 6th season of Dragon Warrior Randomizer, used to be more common earlier for people to do this kind of spiral search, where if your first search spot doesn't come up with it, then you would just kind of, okay, search the 3x3 grid, now search the 4x4 grid, kind of doing a spiral out from wherever it is that you first started searching. But that's not as popular anymore. But definitely a technique to keep in your back pocket just in case you try for a difficult count like this and don't hit it right away. MonsieurSlime now, for the first time in this seed, is taking the experience lead. As Edge has been trying to get some exploration starting out on the map, not doing so.
He learned. I mean, if the point of exploration is to learn, he has explored the fiery breath of the Star Wyvern.
Yeah, it can. That can be pretty tough. Tilo echoing the sentiments. Always search a 5x5 box around the spot that you counted towards, because yeah, it's just so easy to be off by 1 or 2 tiles, especially if it's a really long count. So yeah, before you give up on a count, it's always best to just make sure that you weren't off by 1 or 2 in either direction. So to kind of remember where your home square was that you were pretty sure was the spot, and then kind of, just do a spiral search around that. Just be extra diligent, and just being as diligent as you can, heading due east, as you mentioned before, the one direction we have not seen just yet. MonsieurSlime really just content to fight these Zone 1 monsters all the way up to level 7.
Yeah, there is that tendency I've noticed. If in all directions you start running into Charlock-type monsters, can kind of make you a little nervous about wandering out into the world. Feel like you're spending a lot of time for no gain, and that you'd be better off just settling in and looking for a couple of strong levels.
Absolutely. I mean, if they decided that they wanted to take on these metal scorpions, I'm kind of surprised to see them declining them as much as they are. This wouldn't be a terrible situation to even go all the way up to level 8, as once they do get to level 7, it's... I want to say it's like 8 metal scorpions from there to get to the next level. But again, we'll have to see what level 8 gives, as MonsieurSlime is 1 Magidraki away. So we'll be able to see what that gives momentarily.
Drum roll. Drum roll. Oh, we're going to have to wait a little longer.
Drum roll to getting sent back. Yeah, Kenjutsu noting that, the club is definitely helping out. That 4 attack power is definitely just making quicker work of these monsters than Edge, just ever so slightly. And MonsieurSlime is also closing in on the 180 gold to potentially upgrade to a copper sword, which, given the fact that their strength is still kind of in the gutter, wouldn't be terrible. Alrighty, just needs 2 experience, I believe, for this next level, but regardless, the Magic Jockey will do it. In comes level 7.
Numbers are 2, 3, 1, 2.
Oh boy, 2, 3, 1, 2, and no spell. Oh no! Well, so much for that copper sword money. I think MonsieurSlime was headed towards Garenham to potentially spend that money, but half of it has now been donated to the king. So this is a little bit unfortunate. I think you're really hoping to see at least the hurt spell, but no such luck here. And yeah, I have to agree with Lorgon. I think now you really, really, really need to look into picking up some torches and just fighting those metal scorpions that you've been seeing so many of. I don't remember how much gold a metal scorpion gives off the top of my head, but I also want to say it's one of those situations where they basically pay for themselves. If you get 1 metal scorpion kill, you can just go right back in and buy more torches with the gold. MonsieurSlime selling herbs for torches here. He's finally had enough. Says, get me to level 8 as quickly as possible. I'm just going to start killing metal scorpions. And yeah, selling herbs for torches. I like this. I maybe wish he'd done it a little bit sooner, but yeah, I think this is absolutely the correct play.
Better late than never, and here comes Torch 1 for 9 damage. Metal Scorpion says, was it fire? I will show you how. But 2 torches gets the job done, and sure enough, 48 gold, definitely get those torches back.
So I think you're correct. I don't think MonsieurSlime has put the dragon scale on just yet. Probably a little bit more dialed in on those torches. I'm not terribly sure if that was just purchased or not. But, yeah, okay. So, yeah, confirmation from our tracker that MonsieurSlime has not yet put that dragon scale on. So, I'm sure shortly we'll realize that he hasn't put that on and get that 2 defense bonus. But right now, really just focused on getting these metal scorpions here. I'm sure at any rate, if MonsieurSlime needs to Death Warp, by that point, we'll go ahead and use that Death Necklace, and then it'll be... Or, not the Death Necklace, the Dragon Scale, and then it'll be equipped.
Yes. Get it done then. Another 2-shot on that other Scorpion's good news. Droll just says, you're not what I'm here for. Go away.
Yeah, the Droll is one of those unfortunate monsters that its strength and HP kind of... It's not worth the experience that they give. Definitely a lot easier to go after those metal scorpions. And even regular scorpions are just much of a... They're a much softer target. So, yeah, I feel like you pretty much never go after Drolls in this scenario. You're just going to take too much damage, and really you're looking for maximum efficiency here. It also seems like this zone might double up on Metal Scorpions. They seem to have seen a lot of them here.
Could it be? Well, sure enough, here's another one.
Irene Punmaster, says you can throw the torch. Yes, in remakes of Dragon Warrior 1, so on the Super Famicom and Game Boy Color versions, I'm sure the Switch version and mobile versions allow this as well. You can throw a torch in combat to do 6 to 9 damage, and you can throw fairy water to do 9 to 16 damage. And so we have brought those changes here into Randomizer, basically for this exact purpose, to help you get off those early levels in situations where the starting strength is poor and it's hard to get money for a weapon. Interesting enough, having the gold here very, very close to having enough money to get that copper sword, but just happy to get more torches and throw them out.
Yeah, it was too short when running out of torches, so unless you want to putz around for a Drakey, I'm gonna have to come back in and rearm. But being the only runner so far to work on this torches and metal scorpions that chat was calling for the moment they showed up has given MonsieurSlime a significant XP lead over Edge.
Yeah, you really see the different strategies paying off here as, Edge just kind of trying to do the Zone Zero thing, and MonsieurSlime just really trying to get as much experience as he can as quickly as he can, and minimum rolls that torch, but still manages to take out the metal scorpion. So good play there. Yeah,
made it exciting, but I think that if 2 torches still survives baby breath twice, I think MonsieurSlime's good. Welcome everyone from Randomania 2. Welcome to the race. It's been a jail that we're working our way out of.
Yeah, Randomania 2, thank you so much for that raid. Welcome in, viewers, to MonsieurSlime versus Edge. Anyone more experienced in the audience will pretty much immediately notice that 35 minutes into the seed, we're still level 7. And, in about 2 minutes, you will all have seen as much of the map as we have seen. As to the north, you've got red dragons, and to the east, you've got some other nastiness. And so both of our runners have been pretty content to stick to Zone 0 or Zone 1, whatever they're comfortable with, to try to get off to a good start. And, great clip, Mike. I like it. Good clip. Synchronized Magic Draki Wombo combos. They do, in fact, have it. But MonsieurSlime, for the last 10 minutes or so, has been throwing torches at those metal scorpions, melting their faces off, getting experience, and I think is 3 away from the level.
Closing in. Edge, meanwhile, has saved enough money from Zone 0 to wander over here with the copper sword.
And I think that's it's really, really nice. Could potentially fight those Drolls now. If he wanted to. Don't know exactly what the damage range is on those, but not buying the torches at all, really, unless I missed something there. Really just content to try to fight his way through. Let's see how well he can do against this metal scorpion with his copper sword here.
4, 6. Yeah, we're not quite torch damage, but if it's cooperative with the sleep spell, this could work. And there we go.
Yeah, so good heads up play there from Edge. Did remember that copper sword was there. Going to go ahead and pick that up, and MonsieurSlime has picked up level 8. We do have 30839.
30839. Oh my goodness. That's yeah. That is a thing.
So no new spells to speak of, so that basically just bought them 13 more casts of heal, as Beta Strep observes.
Yeah, not useful now, but if a power spell opens up soon, a heal more or a... Well, not so much heal more at these hit point levels, but a good time to find hurt more. That would change a lot.
It would change a lot, might speed things up. I'm sure Chad is hoping that they don't get any more spells until level 16. Runners not so much. So now we'll have to see if MonsieurSlime decides that this is the point to try to go out on the map again. I don't think we've seen him go due east just yet. Maybe just having gone north.
Yeah. Slime, no, I think you're right. I think we saw Edge go east a little bit and quickly find some werewolves and other rudeness and say, you know,
Yeah, it's pretty tough. Yeah, MonsieurSlime pretty much content to take, I want to say it's 12 more Metal Scorpions to the next level, so definitely, you know, you've got a path there, and it's not the worst path that you could possibly take, so gonna go ahead and do that. Almost 200 experience in the lead over EdgeTalvaron. You really can see the difference that settling down and just picking up those torches has made. Maybe wishing he had done that a little bit sooner, but regardless, it's definitely the correct play to be making right now. Yeah, I have to agree that Hurt would be pretty useful here in situations like this. Just that guaranteed 9 to 16 can help you punch quite a bit above your weight class. In terms of, like, if they saw a wyvern or a knight or even a rogue scorpion, they could potentially take that out with their resources. And so, yeah, I mean, even that hurt spell could be useful at this point just because everything else is lagging so far behind.
yeah, and even if they can't find any of those, just it would make the scorpions much more efficient grind with the kind of MP reserves they have. Being able to fling hurts at them until they have to go rest would be better than the chip damage from the copper sword or the constant torch replenishment that's going on.
Tadara noticing that MonsieurSlime is still not buying that copper sword, probably just content to throw these torches, maybe eyeing something bigger. Honestly, I'm a little, I guess I'm a little more surprised that he didn't choose to buy any armor, but really, at this point, I guess the armor's not the bottleneck, as leather armor not going to do much against that baby Dragon Lord breath that these Metal Scorpions do have.
Yeah, but I would like a copper sword pickup. I liked it for Edge, and MonsieurSlime with the extra level, it would do him even more good.
Oh yeah, good observation here from up to MG. If they were casting Repel here, would basically guarantee that every encounter is something that they want to see.
Yeah, and goodness knows they've got the MP to spare.
Absolutely, yeah.
But since we're settling in here with a little bit retreading of the Metal Scorpion ground, you can thank High Spirits for the restream and for this lovely, lovely start on this roll. You can thank NYC Guy for keeping us updated on the spells and the items and the stats with the tracker, and Lavkin, my co-commentator, for helping me call all the action.
Absolutely. Wonderful to be here with you, Leonhardt. And thank you again, High Spirits, for rolling this beautiful, beautiful seed to challenge both of our runners here in week 1. I mean, this is just a real test of your grit. You were talking about it before as to whether or not either of these runners were going to ask for a reseed, and neither of them have so far. And it's tough too because 45 minutes into a seed, you definitely don't want to be asking for that reseed. But this is where you start to hit a wall again potentially.
Yeah, I agree. It's too late to start over now. You don't want to start a race at 11:30 effectively. So yeah, you're committed. Just gotta work through this and try to get to whatever the breakthrough level is as efficiently as possible.
Yeah, the only problem is Kanjutsu making the same observation. If there's no hurt more and no decent power gain at level 9, they're gonna have to get real creative or kill a lot more metal scorpions. Lorcan.
You might be past the statute of limitations on that one, Lorgan. I'm a little new, but I have a feeling that that's the case here.
I'm going to go ahead and ask for a reseed for my race against Game Boy F9 from 5 years ago. Alrighty, so with this Metal Scorpion kill here, well, assuming that he gets it, I do believe we're now down to 2 or 3 Metal Scorpions. I think 2 will do it. And then we'll get C level 9, and whether or not it's that breakout level.
And Mr. Slime was punching at that last Scorpion. Maybe that will convince him to go ahead and pick up the copper sword. We're waiting for it. Oh, thank you, chat. I sit corrected. Yeah, I saw the leather armor purchase. I missed the copper too. Maybe at some point we'll get a look at the status screen. But Edge now with that copper sword smacking trolls around for 10 feels like going after them. It's not the XP from Metal Scorpion as previously observed, but it's here and you can take it out, so let's get to work on it. But there's our level 9. 5, 4, 1, 6, and at least one spell. Heal more. So we'll take it. And it's enough to convince MonsieurSlime, hey, it's time to go walking.
Yeah, you do like to see that heal more spell before level 16. It means you do have it in your back pocket, but 51 HP, not the most efficient time to use it. Not terrible either. Oh, okay. Finds a zone with a wolf and a wyvern. This is something. This is a place I would consider sticking around.
Yeah, wolves are a nice, tasty batch of XP, and if got it quite under control. But that sleep spell with their low sleep resistance would be handy if it was under a different situation.
Axe Knights have hurt. That's a pretty decent observation to make this early on. And they have sleep too, but that makes them a pretty tasty stop spell target.
Yeah, couple of things they might fling at you there and get you a bunch of free turns. That could be a very nice spike grind in Hawkness if that's who's hanging out there.
Absolutely, and now that MonsieurSlime is, we'll see if he's going to go out on the map a little bit more. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and try to go north again, and so this will be Edge's chance to close that experience gap, already within 150 or so. And seeing this Wyvern, chat was calling out the lack of.
That'll break your heart. Oh.
So, maybe going for a little bit of a cheeky manip there, but unfortunately gets the excellent dodge out of it. Was kind of looking at that sleep spell, finally uses it. Sleep is pretty effective against Wyverns, and so sometimes you do have to kind of keep in mind that that sleep spell can be pretty useful for taking out mid-tier enemies, and really just picking away at the Wyvern does take it out. Now let's see, does he decide, was he lucky, or does he want to keep trying to do this? Because I really think that Wolf Wyvern zone that he just got a brief glimpse at could be a really good place to try to go for level 10 if he wants. But now, this is about as far as we've gone on this map so far.
Mm-hmm. Uncharted territory for everyone, not just for Mr. Slime. Gonna go for the Wyvern yet again. Went well the first time. Oh, but this time, gets back up quick. Oh, shrugs off the next sleep. And does it again.
Oh dear.
Do you gamble the sleep? Yep, he's gonna try for the sleep. And gets it there. Let's see that big heal. Yep, sure enough. Reset and try again.
He probably could forego sleep and just rely on that heal more and take a few swings. Looks like, I want to say 13 to 21 or something like that is the range for what he can take.
Yeah, basically do Dragon Lord strats on it. Heal up to full and take your swings when you can. Should have a decent amount of doubles.
So just enough HP here to make that heal more spell useful, and does make good use of it here. Edge getting level 9 will get the kind of bittersweet news that they do have heal more, but no hurt more to really get them going. And
another dead end. Another dead end on the map.
Yeah, so this is a little bit unfortunate. It looks like they do have to go east. And there were some Charlock enemies in that direction that were kind of sending them back, kind of giving them the business. But we know that east is the direction to go. Edge doesn't know that quite yet, but that's going to be... We'll find that out soon enough, I'm sure.
MonsieurSlime going for the big one, but they're a bit more resistant to those punches. Already stopped the spell, couldn't put it to sleep, and now it's a trip back home.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the rules work exactly. I think fishing for that stop spell was interesting. I'm not sure if being stop spelled means that they have a spell or not. But a good play. I like that, just in case they have 75% something.
Yeah, I think anyone that doesn't have spells automatically has 15 out of 16 resistance. I want to say someone mentioned that to me once, but chat will quickly tell me if I'm wrong about that.
Hitting the 1 in 16 and no abilities is a very unfortunate bit of RNG. As we can see here on the tracker, their AI tells them to fight, and if they decline to fight, then they must fight. So the stop spell not doing much for MonsieurSlime, but I still like the play. I think it's a fantastic thing to try to do.
Mm-hmm. Edge going after a Druid Lord. He's getting decent damage. Could be similar to that Wyvern fight from over on MonsieurSlime's side of the screen. Oh, but it breaks out a late sleep. Kind of had that tucked in the back pocket. Might just be rolls, or it could just be down to 25, but it's not enough to knock Edge down. He gets his XP. Staying close to MonsieurSlime on this grind/explore phase.
Yeah, they're both doing a pretty good job of really trying to figure out the edges of what they can fight. So yeah, be able to keep the experience up that way. I mean, MonsieurSlime did get that Wyvern and a couple of other nice monsters, and now decides that this is a good time as any to just settle in and go back to killing those metal scorpions he's been ever so familiar with. Edge contending here with a wolf, and yeah, both of them really just trying to do what they can. Almost an hour in, and we've seen about 4 screens of the map total here.
Yes, we are an hour in, and we have seen one shop, which, unless you are determined enough to go for a silver shield, our runners have bought everything of value from it. And no caves, no nothing else. It's been rough.
Up to a G saying he thinks this is too much for an early grind. I kind of have to disagree here. I think that it's going to be a little bit more efficient to try to, MonsieurSlime did do that a little bit of exploration, found that dead end, picked up a little bit of experience, and now decided that he's close enough to the level to just go ahead and grab it. I kind of like this play, personally.
Well, Edge has a cave. It's Garam's grave, and we're going to get 3 chests out of it at least. Let's see if one of them has a key to really open things up, or what else is in here.
Yeah, I mean, the first chest that we're seeing an hour in outside of the throne room, so might have nothing. We might have an absolute game changer here. And, oh, there is a key!
Ooh! And reload of fairy water and a fighter's ring. So, you're in Garam's grave. You've got 1 key. You've got Garanham Town. Ooh, do you safety save? Do you gamble on one of these? What do you do? What do you do?
I think you absolutely head to... Yeah, he's going to cast outside. You go to back and Garen... Oh, yeah. Go back
Oh,
home.
yeah, obvious call. Yeah. I should have seen that. With 1,000 gold, you go back to Garanham, you buy a full keyring, and you do all the things. Yeah.
Yeah, so now Edge will be able to go ahead and pick up more keys for himself. I imagine the Star Wyvern's probably going to send him back right now. Yeah, from there we'll be able to get quite a bit of information for himself. And this, in my opinion, is why, if you're right there next to the level, you might as well get it. MonsieurSlime hitting level 10 and has found the spell of Hurt More, and immediately heading over to Hawksnest.
And finds what you'd love to see to test your Hurt More out on. A wizard. Wait, no, what? No, that's terrible.
Hey, he hit the 15 out of 16 stop spell, might as well go for the Hurt More too.
But yeah, Edge doing the smart play with the key. Goes and buys a full key ring, and we'll start to find out many more things.
Yeah, we're gonna get our first look at the treasury. Wells SJC calling for 4 herbs. I don't think there are enough herbs left. I don't know how many herbs are out on the map at the beginning of a seed. We've already seen 1.
Gold! The death necklace. Wings. Don't know return yet. And get your key back. So the gold grind is on the table.
Yeah, gold grind absolutely on the table, and they do have that silver shield waiting for them in Grinham. And so they can pick that up whenever they want, pretty much. And MonsieurSlime now gonna go ahead. He's gonna heal up on herbs, not wanting to cast that heal. There it is!
It is the Axe Knight. Take a hurt more to the face. Coming back with just a little hurt. We're about to find out what's on this tile.
Yeah, maybe want to... Yeah, go ahead and fire off another hurt.
Go ahead and nuke it again. You've got the HP to spare. Throw a torture for feeling cheeky. Oh, but it's a whammy.
That is unfortunate. Nothing doing here at Hawk's Nest, but that is completely fine. Now we are off to the races in terms of experience.
Yeah, we're just gonna sit here and obliterate Axe Knights with Hurt More until the cows come home, or the MP runs out, as the case may be.
Oh!
Ooh, yeah!
Okay, Lorgon called it somewhat. The entire time they've been suffering for so long. So long have they suffered. And the armor was right there the whole time. One more chest to check. And... Oh my... Lorgon!
Cave in the back!
Lorgon, what are you doing? Lorgon, how? What is this?
So while MonsieurSlime was getting hurt more, Edge was getting hurt more on a stick.
Okay, so I have never seen anything like this. We have just had this seed turned completely on its head in two different ways. MonsieurSlime, now level 11, just picked up another spell. He picked up, looks like the Hurt spell. Doesn't really mean that much now. And has jumped out to a 1,000 experience point lead, but Edge just behind him. And, I mean, this is a pretty wild scenario to be in because, you know, MonsieurSlime's got that experience lead, but Edge now has the Erdrick's gear and could potentially pick up a silver shield later on. Can't really contend with this Axe Knight just yet, but will be able to in the not too distant future. And the longer that MonsieurSlime goes without a key, you have to wonder if Edge just really... How is it going to affect the outcome of this race? I have never seen anything like this.
Yeah, it's the question. I mean, with so long not being able to grind, you kind of understand the excitement of, oh good, I've got power, I'm low on levels, I feel like, let's make this happen. But yeah, there's a key just off screen that we know about, and one of our, you know, if Edge gets to that level and discovers the Hurt More to go along with Erdrick's armor and sword, with these MP totals, just... I'm coming after you, Seed. I'm going exploring.
Yeah, and up to a G calling out the fact that Edge could have taken out that Axe Knight by just hacking it to death with the sword. I think that's probably a good play. I don't know if it's absolutely required. He's got to fight this. You got to fight this Star Wyvern, though. You absolutely have to fight this Star Wyvern. You've got more than enough defense here to be able to tank at least one shot, and then you just heal more up. And this is one of those things where you start to look at runs for the Red Dragon on 48 agility. That was impressive. But
yeah, I'm gonna take it.
I'm going to reiterate this point. You really got to have a good idea of what you can fight. A decline in the Magic Wyvern here, too. I understand being a little bit gun-shy and maybe being a little bit fatigued an hour into a race like this, but you're so close to level 10. You need to be comfortable with being able to fight things here with that new gear that you've got and that Heal More spell in your back pocket. These are the things that kind of change the face of a race. Yeah.
Edge got the armor and the sword, but seems to be in full explore mode, and does find Charlock for his trouble, but gets sent packing by the AK. So, yeah, I agree with you. You've gotta power up. You're not there yet, and you've got a real chance to get the power you need to make that exploration safe and efficient instead of the long walk that Edge is now redoing.
Yeah, absolutely. And Edge hasn't gone north yet, so could run into those wyverns that we saw earlier and pick up some experience there. But I mean, we can see now. The Hurtmore Axe Knight combo is the legendary combo, and already at level 12, 12, 1, 19, 24. That was
huge.
An absolutely absurd level. We see that MP is in the green, already sitting on 13 heal mores. One short of 14.
And getting that 19 hit points, probably the biggest news of it all. Getting up to 82, that number's starting to look real good now.
Yeah, that's going to allow you to contend with some of the nastier monsters, as you're pretty likely to be able to survive a couple of hits from something that you want to take down. And again, not fighting the wizards here. I just don't really... I don't understand this.
Something to ask. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Just saying, something we can ask him after the race. So, you got the sword, you got the armor. What was your thoughts? I'm curious to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the wizard there, you've got to take it, because at this point, you've decided that you're done sitting around and grinding, and you are going to explore on the map. When you're out there on the map, you've just got to make sure that you're picking up experience while you are exploring.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And just continually declining these mid-game monsters that really he could be fighting. And I mean, even that Demon Knight would have given him the level right there. And yeah, I mean, Edge doesn't know it, but we can see that the more he declines to fight these monsters, the further away MonsieurSlime gets. I mean, he's almost got triple the experience that Edge has.
Yeah. Well, we've got the dive back into the grave. So we might grab the 2 chests and then set up the gold grind. The 2 in the bottom would be just enough, right? If he saves the gold in the treasury for last?
Yes, that is correct. The 2 in the bottom would be just enough in order to get that. As long as you remember exactly where that gold chest is, then yes, 2 would be enough to do it. Excellent move. Finally finds a mid-tier monster he's comfortable with. Will pick up that Hurt More spell now, and then as soon as I imagine he'll hopefully go back and do a little bit of a grind himself. Maybe try to catch up to MonsieurSlime while MonsieurSlime goes out on the map whenever he chooses to do so. Not quite at that 75 power mark that Up2NG was calling for, but everything else looking pretty darn good for choosing to explore, and it looks like that's what he is going to do.
Yeah, and as long as MonsieurSlime goes in the right direction, which is never a guarantee, then he'll find the grave and get caught back up on exploration. Edge, meanwhile, unfortunately learning that Wraith Knights have the big Dragon Lord breath and gets kicked out of Garum Grave without so much as grabbing a chest.
Yeah, I think in chat saying that if you want to do a grind, you really need to grab those top 3 chests, and I have to agree with that, because if he had grabbed those top 3 chests, he would have been able to do a pretty easy grind from there, even getting bopped out as early as he did. Now, you're talking about, MonsieurSlime needs to go the right way. There's no guarantee that he's going to find the grave, and I mean, that's, on this particular map, that's really important to find out, because you really would need to kind of follow this coast down to the south, as I do believe the grave. I want to say he's too far east already and would need to go back and follow the coastline to find the cave. I could be wrong. He might find it just on this side of this small lake here. And he does. So yeah, MonsieurSlime's going to go ahead and pick up that key, and I imagine go right back to Garinham and pick up all the gear. And he may wonder if he's behind as a result of that, but we know he's massively in the lead at this point.
Yeah, that Axonite grind just so efficient, doing a good job sitting down and getting those levels. He's got plenty of room. Edge has wandered back to it, gotten the bad news about the spot, but is also settling in with his hurt more to set up his grind.
Question chat from Potato Chopsticks: what do the colors on the stats mean? So white means, white stats mean we're not anywhere close to being good enough for the final boss. Orange is close to being good enough, and green is definitely good enough. So the MP is good enough to be considering the final boss, but and the agility is good enough, but the strength is not there yet, and the HP is borderline. So that's basically the idea there, is to kind of get an idea of how good the stats are. Basically, we can say the MP is very good, the agility is pretty good, and anything in white is not good enough just yet.
Yep. Excellent breakdown there as MonsieurSlime gets to those 3 chests and pacing a little, just taking the Death Warp now. Yeah, of course, only 1 key. You gotta take the Death Warp now.
Yeah, and I think this is a pretty smart play, looking for the Death Warp, as could go ahead and grind for that Silver Shield, says no. I want to say he might have cast Repel, and, oh, this is an interesting play. Gonna dip out and dip back in, grab that key, and potentially dive. I really like this.
Ooh, yeah, very heads up. Good call.
So I like this for multiple reasons. One, you go ahead and you get that second key for yourself to dive, and then also, while you're down there, look for something that can kill you. But before he gets down there, does find this Axe Knight, but not going to Death Warp just yet. Wants to see how far down he can get with that Hurt More spell.
Yeah, I like it too. If you can get the exploration done and just completely check this off, like, worst case, it has nothing. It whiffs on something silly like another dragon scale and wings. I don't know. You still at least got it checked off, and you never have to come back and do it again. But it could be so much better. If you can get it checked off now, and then get your Death Warp out of the way, why not?
Absolutely. And we do see, meanwhile, while MonsieurSlime is heading down the grave, Edge has figured out the same thing that MonsieurSlime figured out. There is an Axe Knight here in Hawksness. It is the... I mean, it's not the best grind available. This is the best grind in all of Dragon Warrior Randomizer. Hurt Mooring, Axe Knights. I mean, I wish we had Osmati Games here in chat to do the official math, but it's somewhere along the lines of 500 experience per minute. You don't find a grind that's better than this in Randomizer, and so while MonsieurSlime does a little bit of the homework, Edge is going to catch up in experience. Probably will go to 13 just like MonsieurSlime did, and then basically be off to the races.
Yep, makes total sense. MonsieurSlime finding a Curse Belt, which sells for 180, that's cool, but more importantly tells us that we have a spot out in the overworld that has an item. And we've already seen Hawksness come up empty, so either Cole or the search spot with the coordinates will have something for us.
Yeah, and it's pretty darn rare that as we cross that hour and 12-minute mark, we've only seen one of those search spots, and not any of the others just yet. But we'll have that information that, yes, indeed, either Cole or that map could be required. So wanting to find one of those search spots as soon as possible. We know at this point that odds are that it's got one of those quest items, as we do have both of Erdrick's items found already. But could also be just that Fairy Flute or that Death Necklace. Sure we'll be seeing before too long, as MonsieurSlime now getting to that last chest.
Well, we do have the Death Necklace. Oh gosh, where did Edge find that? I see it over there on the tracker, but I don't remember where it came from.
Treasury,
perhaps? Oh, Treasury. Thank you.
Pyroman's making the correct observation that death warping is going to be very, very easy here for MonsieurSlime, due to just having that leather armor, and so does go ahead and take that. Hasn't seen the treasury just yet, but will be very happy to find that it does in fact have money, and having opened all 5 chests in the grave, this gold grind is going to be pretty much free. And so within about 5 minutes here, maybe 10, depending on how long the gold grind takes, MonsieurSlime's going to be completely loaded.
Yep, and Edge doing that same homework now. Effectively following in MonsieurSlime's footsteps now. Did stop the grind a little earlier, but really, really wants to get back to this.
Up to G has only seen... I mean, we've only seen Gorinham and Hawksness, but we know that Gorinham has everything that they could possibly want, because you've got the Silver Shield in the shop and Erdrick's armor and the sword in the back. So, one-stop shop there, you're pretty much done. One quick observation to make, Edge did not stay in Hawksness as long as MonsieurSlime did. So still sitting at about a 2,000 experience point gap, but choosing now to go ahead and make that dive into the grave. Might be considering doing that death warp afterwards, but will have a harder time with Erdrick's armor. Just have to wait and see what he decides to do.
Dark Shadows, it was a jail before grind before homework seed. The efficient grind until Hurtmore was picked up at 10 was to continually buy torches in Garenham and throw them at metal scorpions.
Yeah, that was pretty much the most effective thing to do at start, which MonsieurSlime did. We did end up getting that Hurtmore spell at level 10, and then there's an Axe Knight and a Hawksness just to the north of Gorinham, which is where MonsieurSlime got all of the experience after that. And as Up to G called out in chat, does stop at 15,000, picks up that Silver Shield for himself. He doesn't know it just yet, but he is, again, about to be completely decked out in all of that gear that he could possibly want.
Already overjoyed for the armor, and as you said, about to find out how much happier he's really going to be.
I'm really curious to see what's going to go through the mind of both of our runners here. I mean, someone was wondering if Edge might have felt behind finding the Erdrick's gear, and maybe that's why he was declining so many mid-tier fights. I do think that when you find the sword and the shield, or the sword and the armor, right there, at this point in the seed, you kind of start to wonder if your opponent found them first. That said, they don't make a gigantic difference in a seed where you know your opponent was stuck in jail just like you were. You know that Hurtmore was really the turning point. So, I mean, it's really tough. MonsieurSlime, though, going to get level 14 off this kill.
Yeah, and we're right about there as far as needing the power to take on the Dragon Lord, and then becomes straight homework. Where's the harp? Where's the harp turn-in? Where's the Soames? Where's the token? And this level says 2, 2, 4, 2.
Well, that changed pretty much nothing. Good time as any to just, again, be out on that map and get that exploration done.
Yeah, it got the hit points just over that fun mark where 48s, 50s, you feel a little more comfortable about them. But yeah, not a major change. Still very much in time to do your homework.
Yeah, Nim John pointing out that you always have to wonder if somebody did kind of a hero walk for that key, because again, that key was such a massive game changer here for Edge. As Edge, we can see doing that gold grind will go ahead and stop at 15,000, pick up that silver shield for himself, and then the difference will basically just be the experience. This is now officially a homework seed. It's really going to come down to how quickly can you find those last few locations. And now, for the first time in 45 minutes, a new town. Two new towns.
Two new towns, right next to each other, in the shadow of Charlock. Kentland's the first one, so we have coordinates incoming. Now, is it count? Is it reverse count? Or is it some horrific thing in the middle where we just need...
Oh, okay.
That's cute. That's cute. See, he's got jokes. He's got jokes.
Well, Betastrup was calling earlier, noting that there is potential for... MonsieurSlime checking the weapon shop, I'm not sure why. Betastrup was calling for the single coordinate count, and I think this is the perfect scenario for it. MonsieurSlime again, is he looking for a broadsword? Did he forget already that he's got Erdrick sword and armor?
I hope not. That would be unfortunate.
Well, I mean, he would get reminded by the shopkeeper as soon as he tried to buy something.
Then I will buy the Erdrick sword for 1 gold. Is
for
that
1
okay?
gold.
No!
Exactly. Yeah, so, yet another town here. Wow.
Goodness. Townsville.
The absolute city of Townsville here.
Gee, thanks, Romualder. Have some keys.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, sorry. So, yeah, we do have Torch here in the inn, and yeah, you basically just... You don't really want to mess too much with the north count. Don't worry too much about the north count. It's all about the east count. As long as you can kind of keep an idea of whether or not you're north or south of that 9 north marker, then really all you need to be worried about is going east and making sure you get that east count accurate. And yeah, as Vedastrup said, as long as the map is cooperative and doesn't wind you too far north or south away from that 9 north mark, this is pretty eminently countable, I would say.
I think Slime noticed the power of that punch and went, I picked up something somewhere. Quick look in the status screen. Oh, well, part of the homework is done. There's the harp cave. Just need a harp for it.
Yeah, one of those old men now being accounted for here as interesting map. We couldn't explore it for so long. It seems so big, and now everything's kind of compacted itself here. And a few different directions that MonsieurSlime could go. And wow, continuing with a wizard for the first time here, they do have that sleep spell. Not sure if anything's behind it just yet, but let's go ahead and take that out.
Edge coming up along, finding Townsville now. Again, just at the moment, a little bit behind MonsieurSlime in terms of XP, in terms of exploration. But there's definitely still time to turn it around, especially since we're starting to get a... It's starting to feel like it's going to come down to homework, and that the levels are going to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got Charlock right there, not too far away from start. You've got the perfect grind spot, also not too far from start. And Betastrup is calling for grind all the way to 16. I'm not sure if you necessarily want to go that far. One more level could potentially be useful, as MonsieurSlime now pretty much repelling anything that's not a Charlock monster. So if you did get a little bit more defense, you could basically have free reign of the map here. And I do believe by process of elimination, this has to be coal. Indeed it is.
Yep, so get another look. Is this spot of value? It is. There's the stones.
So 1 hour, 22 minutes in, we finally have our first quest item. And so now that leaves Mountain Cave and Tablet, I believe, are the last locations for the token and the harp. Of course, the map as well.
Yeah, and map search, yeah. It's gotta have something.
Could just have the flutes at this point, but could also be required.
And Edge has located Tablet, and we have gold. So that was not the answer.
So that pretty much confirms that Mountain Cave is the last thing that they need to find. Mountain Cave and Jerk. We're looking for caves. That's the long and short of that. As MonsieurSlime finds a cave we haven't gone into yet. This, I believe... Okay, no, he just found... they're basically following in each other's footsteps here.
Yeah, Edge got somewhere first this time around, and MonsieurSlime's going to get the news about the gold shortly.
Question in chat from Dark Shadows 59: how much strength are you looking for with this equipment? Well, right now the strength isn't the really important factor, as they do have that hurt more spell. They could take on pretty much anything at this power. If you are looking to fight Dragon Lord, if you're kind of looking for when you're ready to take on the final boss, well, you see that attack power stat is still in white. We're looking for something probably, with this MP, could probably go as early as 130 or 132 attack power, but that's really what you're going to want to look for in terms of final boss readiness.
Yeah, right now we can't even scratch the Dragon Lord's scales. He's got 100 defense. When our runners start getting above 100 attack power, then let's say we had MonsieurSlime at 120. The difference of 20, half of that would be his max damage, 10, and then half of that would be 5. At 120 attack power, you're looking at 5 to 10 damage per round. Those are still not good numbers.
Exactly. Edge may be making a bit of a mental mistake here, thought that he already had the harp, but does not. And again, not terribly surprising. I mean, any runner in a seed like this, when you spend literally 1 hour trying to figure out the best way to get out of the experience jail, can be a little bit mentally taxing. But now has pretty much found all the locations that MonsieurSlime has. So exploration advantage is, no one really has a strong advantage here. It's really all about that experience and that extra grinding that MonsieurSlime did. So now it's going to come down to who finds the Mountain Cave first, who finds the Jerk first.
Beta calling for flute coordinates, because never discount how much chat wants to see the runner suffer. Not much left they haven't seen. Need to be able to get to the coordinates and need to find Mountain Cave. And somewhere along the way, somewhere in there, we've got a harp and a token.
Yeah, and it could even be on the other side of Swamp Cave, as I don't believe we've seen that yet. I don't remember what was in Tentagel Basement.
Someone in chat said the Jerk was there. But I can't swear to that. I don't remember myself.
Okay, well, if it's... Okay. Thank you, NYC guy. It was, in fact, the Jerk. So they are just looking for one more cave. So whoever finds Mountain Cave first is going to be pretty much in the driver's seat. We know they need to go a lot further east, some way or another, because they haven't gone nearly far enough to be able to find that search item. So whoever decides to try to count that out would probably be heading in the right direction to find that last cave.
Yeah, they've both hit the eastern edge of the map, but that was a lot farther north than the item is.
Yeah, NYC guy, absolutely correct. It could be on the second continent that they need to go to, which again would probably be helpful if either of them decide that they want to grab the princess. But again, just remains to be seen right now. Just content to putz around on the map and Edge hitting the return spell. I'm not sure exactly what he's thinking here. Maybe he wants to go check that basement, make sure that he didn't forget what was there.
Yeah, at this point, I might start questioning my own memory and be like, you know, it would be terrible if I had forgotten a swamp cave in the basement and everything I was looking for was on the second continent.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he's thinking here. Knows that he needs to find either mountain or swamp that might lead to mountain, or even swamp to grab the coordinates.
Look, it is. It was swamp. Swamp cave south was in the basement. Edge making the play and makes it to the second continent.
Well, this is a little bit of a game changer here, as neither of our runners have really looked at that basement, within recent memory, and so this is Edge's chance. I mean, I think Edge, I don't know if Edge draws maps, but it seemed like he was pretty content in saying, like, wow, I've seen the entirety of this continent. I haven't found the things that I want, so let's go back and make sure that we check the basement of Tantagel. And that was the right play. This could be the thing that puts Edge back in the driver's seat.
Yeah, definitely. But Edge gets there first, so he's going to have the first look around.
And we're now seeing the point that, some people were saying that MonsieurSlime was making the same play. MonsieurSlime going north, and we're getting into that point where you spent so much time grinding that it's hard to have a good sense of the map that you've explored, the map that you haven't. MonsieurSlime has definitely been on this North Peninsula a few times, just doesn't quite remember, just trying to search every nook and cranny for those last few locations, but we know that his ticket is lying in the basement. And the longer he spends combing the first area... There it is! There's both caves!
And there's the jerk in the first cave. And right over here should be the mountain cave. Here it is.
Well, that is going to take everything and turn it on its head, because Edge is going to be grind and go mode here shortly. He's got every location checked off. He should know that...
we could have something on coordinates.
Oh, yes. That is true.
There's the token.
If the harp is here, we could be ready to go right now.
So we know those coordinates now either have to have that harp or that flute, and the other one, and the other one will be in here. So there it is!
There it is! Coordinates not required. Confirmed fairy flute. Grind and go mode for EdgeTalvaron. Oh boy, how long is it gonna be before MonsieurSlime goes back into Tantagel basements?
That is what it comes down to. And Nim Nim John mourning for the princess. There will be no rescue. I think that, the people are not heartless enough to leave her there once all the monsters are gone, but that's just me trying to solve my conscience, I think.
Well, if you really want to resolve your conscience, go check out the remakes. She's got a pretty comfy 4-post bed in there. I think she'll be fine.
Fair enough.
So yeah, NYC guy pointing out that it's a little bit of a mean seed, because you do have to go all the way back to that you got to go all the way back to Shrine Cave, then hit return, go back through Swamp Cave, go back to the Old Man, and, NYC guy technically correct, by the way. The jerk was through Tantagel Basement, just not right there. But Value V, what are the grind options? We don't know what's in Swamp Cave, and I doubt we ever will know. Because we've got an Axe Knight and Hawksness, and Hawksness is right there at the start. So, just literally checking off the boxes here for Edge, and then off to the races.
Mm-hmm. Seed blend's a thing. We've seen it before, and you're a runner in this tournament. You're practicing. You're staying sharp, and you just kind of blur things together and think that this thing that was in the other seed is in this seed, and it can definitely get you. It's happened before.
It is one of those things where, if MonsieurSlime happened to play a seed earlier today, could be blurring the seeds in his minds. And then, of course, it really cannot be understated how taxing mentally it is, not only to have to do that long grind at the beginning, but also to have to do all of this searching, have to wonder whether or not your opponent found that key in the mountain cave first, whether or not they got those Erdrix items first. But with that return spell, it looks like MonsieurSlime is making a beeline for that basement.
Mm-hmm. And this could get close now, because Edge went exploring on lower XP. So even though he's finishing up his homework, he's a little bit behind on the grind. And we have no idea what Charlock looks like. Whether it's going to be kind, super rude, multiple dives necessary. There's still a lot to be settled in this race.
Absolutely. A little bit of a debate in chat going on whether or not an Axe Knight in Swamp is better than an Axe Knight in Hawksness. I personally think that Hawksness has to be better, because you don't have to deal with the Death Jingle, and Garenham is basically on the same screen. So at least if it were up to me, I would 100% be going with the Hawksness grind. But we'll have to see what our runners choose. Edge declining the Red Dragon again. I understand that he might feel like he's behind. He really wants to get to that Old Man as quickly as possible, but you gotta fight your way through this Red Dragon. You're never guaranteed to run from it, especially on 75 agility. You still need experience. Just kill the dang thing.
Well, he's going for it now.
Oh,
he is. He found Swamp Cave. MonsieurSlime's gonna rescue the princess. We know that that's just gonna get him a fairy flute. But it does make sense with the information that he has.
It absolutely makes sense. I cannot blame MonsieurSlime for this play at all. And what Lorgon, saying the odds-on play is that he needs to find this search tile. And from a runner's perspective, I don't blame him at all. The one thing I will kind of maybe criticize him for is not taking out that blue dragon for the level. But other than that, I think this is absolutely... It's a logical play to make. We just happen to know that it's just gonna... Edge is grind and go now. He's just hit his return spell. Maybe we'll top off that MP in Garinham, but he is now going to settle in, and basically in the amount of time it's going to take MonsieurSlime to check off all the boxes, Edge is going to catch up in experience.
Well, Kauke, he knows that he needs 2 items, but he also knows, because he has coordinates, that the spot that the princess will lead him to is absolutely one of 3 things. Either one of his 2 items or the fairy flute. So that's where the 2/3 odds were coming in earlier.
Exactly.
He does know Mountain's a must, though. There is that.
And also, there's something to be said for the fact that, generally speaking, when you have that GPS and you're using it to try to find... Yeah, Aaron, to you too. Exactly. It took the words right out of my mouth. when you're going to find that search spot, you often end up going to parts of the map you haven't been to before. And so he's probably hoping to find the last locations he needs while, getting this search spot item. Unfortunately, we know that's not going to happen. And of course, we know that this whole thing is moot anyway. But at the very least, it brings him to this opposite continent. He will be finding, these items and locations pretty early, or within due time. It's really just a matter of time here, and then it's a matter of how quickly can Edge make up this experience, and how good is level 15? Let's find out.
5, 3, 19, 6.
So just a little bit short of that Death Necklace HP, which could come into play here as that attack power is lagging a little bit behind. The only one of our stats that's still in the white. But we are sitting on a minimum of 15 heal mores at the go level. So the attack power doesn't need to be all that high. And with Caitlyn pretty close to start, if I remember correctly, or Caitlyn was close to Charlock, I do believe. Could go pick up that fairy water, might be a factor in the final boss fight.
Question in chat about what the Death Necklace does in the randomizer. It does curse you as normal, but as Juizel's pointing out, it takes 25% off of your max HP and adds 10 attack power.
Yeah, and for anyone who doesn't know, when you are cursed, so putting on either a cursed belt or the Death Necklace will give you that cursed status. And in this game, being cursed, in all Dragon Warrior games, as people will probably be aware, a cursed item cannot be taken off once equipped. And in Dragon Warrior 1, if you are cursed and you die, you will not be allowed back into Tantigel Castle. The king will boot you out without healing you. So that's the major drawback to being cursed. And, slept and wrecked from the Axe Knight. I don't think it's a huge chance to have that happen, but, very unfortunate.
Yeah. Now, there is an old man in Breckenary that if you show up with a cursed item, he will remove the curse and take the item away from you. So you've got that out.
Alrighty, taking a brief look at that Axe Knight, that was pretty unlucky. 25% chance to sleep, and then he had to sleep long enough to die, but that's okay. Does refill his MP here, and honestly, as long as that doesn't happen again, could probably go all the way to 16 before he needs to take another in trip.
Yeah, and he's closing in on MonsieurSlime, who's grinding while exploring. But he's narrowed that gap to about 1,200, and since he's sitting on a spike tile, he should be closing it with every minute.
Oh, yeah. This is pretty close to, like I said, somewhere between 450 and 500 experience a minute. MonsieurSlime keeps running into Axe Knights on the world map, helping him out more than he could possibly imagine, as he really is just tunneling in on this search spot. Running out of MP, though, this is kind of unfortunate. Okay, never mind. This is exactly what he was hoping to do. Finds all the locations here. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Yep, Pondering Life with 14 MP. He's going to try and get out of it with his 80 agility. Seems legit. On second thought, could just kill it.
Yeah, I think in this scenario, I understand wanting to hold on to your dwindling resources, but I do think you just need to go ahead and take it out. Getting some really bad damage rolls here. Taking a little bit more damage than he otherwise might have needed to, but it's okay. Mountain Cave does not take too long to dive, and still has that repel spell in his back pocket.
Yep, and still got the stash of herbs for that emergency use, such as this.
Yeah, they'll give you noting there's no MP for return. I think there were wings in here. Not entirely certain, but yeah, may need to death warp out of here, which would be a little bit unfortunate.
Oh, made it to the token. Just needs to get to the harp. It's due south of the stairs.
Oh, Nim noting that he does have wings that he held on from the treasury. So yeah, not a problem here getting back to the castle, which is good. Because we know that doing the homework is it's going to take a while. Even once you know where all the locations are, you still got to get to them. And so, yeah, NYC guy noting when Edge was doing his homework that you got to go back to the first continent, and then you got to go, what? Now, I'm sorry, is he leaving for the map item?
No, he got his harp. He's heading out, but with 6 MP, is that enough for outside?
6 MP is enough for outside. I was a little confused. I forgot the token was right there on the top floor. He knows that he's got all the items.
Oh, he might have thought he had enough for return, and that would be why he walked out, saving the MP. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Does have those wings. Should be using them. He looked at his inventory. Well,
loot for golem insurance while you're here, just in case, like, someone in chat said, I'm hoping for a golem with sleep on the spike tile. Guess you knocked... Nope, he's death warping now. He's good. No.
Yeah, he's good. All planned out. Knew he was going to run into that red dragon who would send him back for free. But again, while all of that was going on, EdgeTalvaron has taken the experience lead. And there is still quite a bit for MonsieurSlime to do. Has to get back to that shrine cave, then back to the opposite continent, then back, and all these things that he's got to do before he can settle into his grinds. And you never know. I mean, 16 is going to need to bring a decent amount of power. I'd say at this point, the minimum I consider is 128, assuming the HP stays the same. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, 128 without the necklace would be 7 to 14, and the necklace should then bump that 138. You're looking at 8 to 19. We're not quite in necklace, but we're getting close.
128 would be, I think, would be the bare minimum that would be doable with this MP. And then you do need to factor in, or you would want to factor in the potential for double attacks. Up to NG saying 124 is probably doable. It is 21 attack power, brings you up to 126. Oh, wow, it's so close. Oh, boy.
If you're feeling... because 122, Death Necklace, still dangerous. That would put you down to 91. Yeah, we can't... you can't necklace on 122 HP. But, it's borderline. Depends on how clean your dive is. You feeling risky, you feeling behind, or do you want to settle in for another level?
Yeah, I think you have to go. He's gonna hit repel. You've got Caitlyn not terribly far away from Sherlock, and so yeah, chat's calling out Fairy Water. You've just got tons and tons of healing here. It's right on the cusp of doable, but you've got that potential for double attacks. 92 defense power is pretty fantastic. So yeah, load up on Fairy Water, and I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, a clean dive does get it done. We're seeing the math in chat. 16 heal mores. Dragon Lord has anywhere from, I believe, 150 to 165 XP. So that 126, that 6 to 13, you're looking at just shy of 10 damage a round. So 15, maybe 16 rounds. You've got that many heal mores. Get some doubles on that high hit point total. So yeah, as long as it's a relatively clean dive, then you should be able to handle that fight.
Edge not sure exactly what it was he wanted to do there. Puts down the rainbow drop, and then coming back here to Cantlin to at least fill up on herbs, get some stuff out of his inventory. Probably could honestly sell that death necklace. Isn't really going to need it. Could
Yeah,
just really
but
fill up on fairy water.
could, but probably at 5,700 gold doesn't need to sell the death necklace, and then hang on to it. Yeah, I don't know, just in case.
Well,
But you're right. Probably won't need it.
I was thinking you might want to free up the inventory spot for more fairy water, but we'll see.
Valid. True. Limited inventory. It's a very good point.
Because I think you can hold up to 7 here, because of course you can't get rid of the rainbow drop, and 6 or 7 fairy water is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, especially with the low attack power, get you that little oomph.
Yeah, because he's swinging for 7 to 13, and fairy water is going to get you 9 to 16. So any fairy water you throw is guaranteed to get you better damage than a minimum swing will. Didn't see whether or not he took the in. He did not, so that's going to cost him 1 heal more. A little bit unfortunate. Should he end up needing it? Hopefully he doesn't. Chad also noting that the fairy water is going to have a lot of value here as repelling a lot of Sharlock monsters.
Although a couple of blue dragons show up and said, about that. But yeah, there are definitely other more annoying things on the list that won't be stopping this dive.
MonsieurSlime has now caught up to level 16 and does have that go level for himself. So this is Edge's race to win right now. He's absolutely in the driver's seat here in this particular scenario. Holding on to that torch, making his way down. And really it's just going to come down to how clean this dive is.
Yeah, how clean is the dive and how does the Dragon Lord fight go? Is it a rude series of hurt mores at the beginning or a free stop spell? Is there a back attack 48 breath waiting? It is Edge's, but it's not locked up yet.
Not terribly certain at this point what we have or haven't seen in terms of Sharlock monsters. I think we've seen a few AK-47s along the way. Not sure if they're hiding any nasty abilities. We know those Axe Knights have that sleep spell, but not necessarily terribly concerned with that. Edge is going to go ahead and use that fairy water to ward off some of those weaker monsters. Golem, one of the ones I was kind of a little bit worried about. If they have that sleep, could potentially make a problem, but
yeah,
so far so good.
Finds a red dragon immediately after, but gets away clean. Looking good so far. MonsieurSlime is setting up for the same run. Going into Caitlin, selling off the things. Probably also going to stock up on that fairy water with the same reasoning.
Be interesting here to see if he decides to get rid of the death necklace. I want to say he's thinking about it, but decides not to. Will go ahead and buy some fairy water, but decides he doesn't want to get rid of the death necklace just yet. And Edge now on the final floor. Just needs to get through here. Did see some nasty monsters there in that diamond floor, but I don't think I saw any encounters on the U-shaped floor or the straight along floor, so
Nope.
it would be a clean walk here.
Have a stone man. Go away. Still gotta find out what the bouncer is. Oh, it's the deputy. The blue dragon. No big.
Yeah, this blue dragon's going to pose no threat whatsoever to EdgeTalvaron. We'll be able to take this out. Excellent move just to speed things up. And we'll get a little bit of heal walking here. Stone Man is basically the only thing we've seen on this floor, so seems to be that he's repelling everything else. And just going to go ahead and use one herb here. And alright, all he's got to do is remember to say no. And this should be pretty much locked up. It's not going to be a fast fight by any stretch of the imagination. He's got that one fairy water that he could throw if he wants to. But really, it's going to be I mean, we've had a long seed, it was a long slog, an hour-long grind, and now we're going to have a long Dragon Lord 2 fight at the end of it.
Coming in with the Hurtmore battery to start. Lance 2 of them. Back attack now would take a Healmore out before the fight begins, but no. We get a clean start for 10.
Right there on the average as we are looking at 7 to 13 damage, so 10 is the number that we are hoping to see. 11, starting out strong here.
Yep, up to 21 so far. Still ticking along. That big MP reserve making this happen. Make it 32 now.
Manufactured a double already and still swinging for average.
Yep, 42 and counting. $51. Still got 11 in the tank. 59. Looking alright. Should find another double somewhere along the way, and that would really make things comfortable. 68. There it is. 77. $88. Nice good swing there. Ah, there's a good shot. $110 if I didn't miss a count along there. MonsieurSlime's walking up to the Dragon Lord, but Edge should be able to bring this home.
Yeah, this one's looking pretty much in the bag here. Did have to double heal more, unfortunately. Got a pretty bad one on low HP, but already crossing that 120 damage threshold should be no problem to finish up here. Still swinging above average, and yet another double here. I want to say 2 or 3 more attacks at the most. And, oh man, this is going to feel so bad for MonsieurSlime. Right as he is getting to the spike tile, Edge has done it.
Yeah, MonsieurSlime is going to be in the Dragon Lord fight, I think, when he sees the Dun come in. Or darn close, walking up to it, I guess. But get your GG's out in chat for Edge being the first to get through this really rude start.
Yeah, Edge does finish in first place with an official racetime.gg time of 1 hour, 56 minutes, 39 seconds. What an incredible race from both our runners. They went through the slog, they broke out of jail, found themselves back in jail, broke out one more time. They both found, Edge found the Airdrix gear a little bit before MonsieurSlime. MonsieurSlime did the grind before Edge did, but Edge had the better map exploration, had the presence of mind to go through Tantagel Basement before MonsieurSlime did. That was the game changer, if anything, and hopefully we can get EdgeTalvaron in here for an interview and ask him about his thoughts on the seed. Meanwhile, MonsieurSlime is contending with Dragon Lord 1 and still has a pretty decent complement of Fairy Water in his back pocket just to make sure that he can win.
Yeah, he's herbing out the Hurtmores. He's got them to spare. And we are indeed joined by EdgeTalvaron. GG's.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, I did not think I was actually ahead in this match.
It was an absolute, yeah. It was an absolute back and forth slog. I mean, both of you kind of. Sometimes you overlapped in your strategies, and sometimes you were doing things that the other person wasn't. Definitely one to watch back. I think this is a fantastic opportunity for some of our. For a lot of people to learn things on how to deal with tough starts like this. One thing we saw MonsieurSlime doing at one point was picking up torches to throw at the metal scorpions that you saw there in Zone 2. Yeah, I mean, both of you were really trying to make the use of that sleep spell, make use of that fairy water that you had in the beginning. One thing, Edge, though, I mean, there were a lot of interesting decisions to make in this seed, but the one real turning point, and I want you to walk me through this. What was going through your mind when you hit return and went through the swamp cave?
So when I hit return and went through swamp, it was merely I had kind of gone through most everything I could on the first continent. So I was like, you know what? Just return, go through swamp cave. I'm still missing 2 caves, which was Jerk Cave and Mountain Cave, and I figured Mountain was holding what I needed. And as soon as I got over there and hit the harp, it was, you know what? It's go time. It's go grab this, go get this drop, and then just go grind until I have enough strength. And that has just been the part to this whole thing is the awful strength of this one.
Yeah, this is one of the tougher starts that I've seen, especially given that. We saw it on your screen, we saw it on MonsieurSlime's screen so many times, trying to put those magicians and magic jockeys to sleep so that you can take them out for that little bit of extra experience while the scorpions were still kind of out of reach, and unfortunately they didn't really want to cooperate.
No, and that's, for me, was the big thing. It just seemed like absolutely everything either had DL2, Hurt More, or Baby Breath early, and it just, ugh.
No, you weren't wrong, and the Magidrake piece had sleep to boot. It was definitely a very, very rough start, and having that massive swamp and a late heal didn't help either.
By the way, the lead was not that great coming into the end. I mean, it was enough, but not massive by any stretch of the imagination. MonsieurSlime, being a little bit cheeky here, gonna go ahead and talk to these guards while he moves forward to eventually talk to the king and finish up the seed. Please break out your GGs once again, as the marathon seed has been finished by both of our runners. MonsieurSlime, second place with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 1 minute, and 3 seconds. And all right, I want to turn it back over to Edge real quick while we have him in chat. Couple more questions I have for you here. Once you found those coordinates, were you worried at all about rescuing the princess? I noticed you passed her up.
So my thought process was, as soon as going on the other side of Swamp Cave, if I hit those 2 caves and did not find the harp, then I was coming back to the princess and then heading for coordinates. I thought about counting them, then I was like 86 east. There's a lot of stuff in between here and there, just not worth the time to try.
That's really interesting because chat was trying to... there was a debate going on in chat as to whether or not you rescue the princess first or whether you find Mountain Cave first. And interesting to me that you wanted to find those 2 caves first. There was a little bit of argument, back and forth. I think it's hard to decide which one is, absolutely correct, especially in a situation like this. MonsieurSlime did decide to pick up that princess. I have to imagine in the hopes of maybe finding things along the way while using that GPS. With that thing, we do have MonsieurSlime here with us, and he can tell us about his thoughts. Good performance here. How you feeling overall? I think you might be muted.
I'm seeing a blinking light, but we're not hearing you.
Is this better?
That is much better.
Unmute is excellent. First off, GG's to Edge. Well run race. I'd be curious to see what the start looked like. I feel like I kept figuring things out, like little pieces to the puzzle, slightly too late. Like, I don't know, but I know I had like this crazy, eventually torch to metal scorpion grind thing going. And it looks like if I just wandered a little bit further, there was a key, and then Edric's gear was available.
You're about right on that main thing. That big breakout for the both of you, you got the hurt more to 10 because, as you pointed out, you were ahead on XP thanks to throwing the torches at the scorpion. So hurt more you found. When Edge got a hold of the sword and armor, he was at 9 and then started looking around without making the hurt more bump. So you both got breakouts in completely different ways.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think I hit level 10 and I basically done no exploring up to that point. I felt way too weak, But again, a little bit further, maybe things would have gone the other way. But yeah, again, GG's to Edge. This will be an interesting watch back, as Lavkian says, maybe on 2 times speed, because that's a long one.
Yeah, and GG to you, man. I felt this entire time like I was behind. I got the sword and armor, like I went into Garen's grave and just hit the top 3 on the off chance that there might be a key. And as soon as I saw it, I hit outside, hit return, went and bought keys, hit the armory, and just did a whole bunch of exploration. And then it just kind of all started falling in place super quick. And as soon as I got the sword and armor, I hit level 10 on the way, and I was like, you know what? I'm going into Hawksness, only to find nothing there except a grind spot.
Yeah, it was a nice grind spot for sure. Just a shame it took so long to get to it. For being right next door to home base.
Yeah, that's one thing I want to talk about. I would like to spend a little bit more time on this point because there were some debates in chat about how long you stay. Beta Strep was calling for staying until level 16, at which point you'd have all the spells. But it's an interesting thing to try to kind of figure out in the moment. MonsieurSlime, you went, I believe, all the way to 14 or 15. You want to talk me through your thought process there?
Sounds right. I think I may have done just a little bit of exploration, maybe after 12 or 13, somewhere in there. And then got the ball up that I think just went back. But, in retrospect, I wonder if maybe just a full commit to let's just go to 16, knowing that the strength wasn't there to finish the game anyways. Every additional level you're picking up there, it's the same amount of time as later. But then you've got the added advantage of when you finally do go hit the map of, survivability. So maybe I should have committed to it more. I don't know.
Yeah, it's always tough to say because, the more you level up early on, the easier your map exploration is going to be, but then potentially you might fall behind in terms of exploration, which is kind of what started to happen. Edge did definitely. You always had the edge and experience, Mr. Slime. Throwing the torches at the metal scorpions is something the chat was calling out for, and that's what you were doing. That gave you a pretty decent lead. And then, doing the pretty long, dedicated Axe Knight grind put you even further in the lead. Really, I would say the biggest difference, here, Edge going through the grave just a little bit sooner, not a lot sooner, just to pick up that Erdrick's gear. Both you guys got a silver shield right around the same time, and then it really just came down to who went through Swamp Cave first, and at this point it happened to be Edge. Edge, one thing I wanted to ask real quick, do you draw maps at all or take notes of any kind? Because that's one thing I was really curious about when it came down to your decision to go through that Swamp Cave.
So here's the kicker and killer key. Unlike a lot of people who do kind of draw their maps out a little bit and stuff, everything for me is mental mapping. Just because of how my thought processings and whatnot go, I have a very keen memory of places and whatnot. So most of the stuff was memorization and, okay, I've checked off this, I've checked off this, I've checked off this. I've gone all over and haven't found this, so the only option is this.
Yeah, you know what? you're talking about the silver shields reminded me of probably the breaking point here, and that when I did the grind for silvers, and rather than go check the Charlock check the basement, I left and got the silver shield, and then mentally forgot that I kind of left something hanging there. So I explored almost the entire main continent a second time, trying to find swamp.
Yeah, that's a tough situation because, especially, I mean, in a seed like this where you're basically grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding and maybe doing a little bit of exploration, getting sent back by a Charlock monster, it's really hard to keep an idea of the map in your head, especially if you're doing it all in your head and not taking notes or drawing or anything like that. It's really easy to end up covering multiple portions of the map more than once. And you don't expect the map to be as small as it is. I mean, honestly, the more you think about it, the more this map seemed to be pretty darn compact, both on the first and the second continents. So it just makes it that much easier to end up retracing your steps. But you did both figure it out in the end and finish basically with a Charlock dive of each other. So before we wrap things up here, one more question I want to ask Edge. You being the first to be in pretty much go win the game mode, what were you thinking? You kind of paused there for a moment, put down that rainbow drop, went back and got some fairy water. Were you thinking about maybe using it in that final boss fight, or just for repel, or what was going through your mind there?
So I simply just had the thought of, okay, I have a rather high defense, low offense seed. So it was, and the other part of it was I didn't have enough herbs for healing on the just in case that I had issues running away. So the initial piece of that was actually grabbing the herbs for healing to try to use as little magic as possible going down. But then I was like, well, it is Cantlin and it is right here. Just pick up the fairy water, empty my inventory as much as possible, and try to use that as a way down.
Yeah, and that's what chat was saying the same thing. I mean, with the extra resources, probably could have just used repel as well and used fairy water and the dragon lord, but it worked out either way. With that 92 defense, really helped out, especially on that final floor. I think the only thing that you were seeing was the occasional stone man, and so pretty much defense breaking everything else. MonsieurSlime, just kind of watching the way that you went down, it seems like you pretty much had the opposite thought process going in, if I'm not wrong.
I went and grabbed a couple of fairy waters, but that was more just because it was handy, and I figured if I had to burn a little bit on the way, I guess a little bit of insurance. But yeah, I think I didn't see Edge's run obviously, but I felt like I had an incredibly fortunate dive. Just in terms of encounters and maybe the enemy set too.
Yeah, you both had very clean dives. There were a lot of things that were repellable, and you both made it down with all MPs still in the tank.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't anticipating that.
Yeah, like I said, I felt behind that whole map just because of the start. Repeated sleep, the repeated wombos, the repeated DL2 breaths from the magicians. And then when I found scorpions, I could take scorpions down pretty easily just by putting them to sleep and just 1-2ing them to death, trying to get that next level, trying to get that little bit more strength. And then, of course, there was that little bit of time where it looked like I was just going after the scorpions, which I was trying to do. I was trying to get the 180, and then I went at 100, not realizing, and I don't know why I thought it was 100 for a copper sword, but I was like, yeah, I've got the... no, I don't.
That's unfortunate. One of those mistakes that is easily made if you don't. Usually, you don't end up buying a copper sword at any point in a seed, but one that most likely won't be made twice. So always can have that in your back pocket for next time. But I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to my co-commentator, Commander Leonhardt. Any last questions for our runners before we wrap things up?
Oh, silly push to talk. No, you covered it quite well. Just congratulations on showing us how to get through a rough start, and definitely handing a few tricks out for people that'll come in handy when they go through their own seeds.
Absolutely. EdgeTalvaron, congratulations once again. Any final comments from you?
As always, thanks to the crew here for putting us on. Thank you guys for the commentary. Thank you, NYC guy, for the tracking. Without you guys, everybody's just kind of watching us run around with like chickens with their heads cut off. But I do appreciate you guys so much.
Absolutely. And MonsieurSlime joining me in the 0-1 spots of this early Swiss round, but of course plenty of races left to play. So any last comments from you?
No, GG's to Edge, and yeah, thanks to everyone for sticking it out on a late night tonight, and 4 more weeks, plenty of time.
Absolutely. All right. Well, with that is going to wrap things up here on RPG Limit Break. Thank you once again so much to everyone out there in the audience for joining us again on this marathon seed. And of course, thanks. Follow both of our runners here for putting on a wonderful show for you here tonight, EdgeTalvaron and MonsieurSlime. Thanks again, of course, to my co-commentator, Commander Leonhardt, High Spirits, for putting together this restream, and NYC guy, as usual, pressing the buttons, showing people on stream what is going on with this race. And of course, as always, if you out there in that audience have not yet joined our Discord, we've got the schedule up for all of our races, got that link to the Discord, got that link to the website. There are so many people who are ready to welcome you into this wonderful community. You could be here in the commentators booth with us in our next tournament. All you got to do is click that link and you will be off and running. But until tomorrow, we've got a full schedule of races, as we will for the next month or so. We will be sending you over to Mr.